Whether you're a gamer who wants the best performance or someone who's just curious about the technical specs of their device, understanding the various types of laptop RAM can be really helpful. We'll explain what each type is and how they stack up against one another. Plus, we'll teach you how to figure out which type of RAM you have and where you can upgrade. So let's get started. Okay, so first things first, what is RAM and why do you need to know there are different types? RAM stands for Random Access Memory, and it's essentially your laptop's short-term memory. The stuff that's stored on your hard drive, or SSD, is your long-term memory. Everything your laptop is doing right now is stored in RAM. When you open an app, part of it loads into RAM. When you close an app, it leaves RAM, but if you open it again, it'll go back into RAM so it can load faster the next time. That's why RAM is also known as volatile memory, because everything stored in it eventually gets cleared when the laptop is powered down. RAM is ranked by its capacity, latency, and maximum supported data transfer rate. In this video, we're focusing on the different types of RAM based on the technology used to construct them. So let's start with the most popular ones. DDR-RAM stands for Double Data Rate RAM. Each letter represents a generation of RAM. So DDR2 was followed by DDR3, then DDR4, and now the latest standard is DDR5. With each new generation, the RAM becomes faster and more efficient. If you want something faster, DDR4 RAM is the way to go. It can run at speeds from 2,400 to 3,200 megabits per second. Modern mid-range laptops use this standard, and some high-end models still use it today. DDR4 RAM also comes in 8, 16, and 32 gigabit densities, but the newer 64 gigabit density is starting to appear in larger capacities like 32 gigs and 64 gigs. It's more expensive than DDR3, but the price is dropping as it gets older. Again, make sure you have enough slots to install two single-channel modules if you want to run dual-channel. The newest type of DDR RAM is DDR5, which can run at 4,800 megabytes per second or faster. DDR5 requires a new type of motherboard chipset, which is only available in high-end laptops released in 2022 and beyond. They typically come with capacities of 16 gigabytes or higher. Because DDR5 RAM is relatively new, it's very expensive right now. If you're considering an upgrade, make sure you check the manufacturer's website for compatibility before buying. Now let's move on to low-power DDR or LPDDR RAM. Unlike DDR RAM, LPDDR RAM isn't typically upgradable after purchase. It's mostly soldered onto the motherboard, and you won't even see a slot. However, it's becoming more common in thinner and lighter laptops like MacBook Air. LPDDR RAM is designed to consume less power and produce less heat, which makes it ideal for mobile devices and laptops that need to maximize battery life. Like DDR RAM, LPDDR RAM also uses numbers to denote generations. Current laptops use LPDDR3, LPDDR4, or LPDDR5. They're similar to DDR3, DDR4, and DDR5 RAM in terms of performance and pricing, but the newer standards are slowly replacing the older ones in the market. Just remember, if you buy a laptop with LPDDR RAM, you won't be able to upgrade it later on unless the manufacturer offers RAM upgrade options on their website. Finally, we need to discuss the two main ways laptop RAM is physically installed: SODIMMs and soldered. SODIMMs are small removable RAM sticks that fit into slots on the motherboard. You'll find them in most gaming laptops, business laptops, and other machines that require a lot of RAM. Larger capacities like 32 gigabytes and 64 gigabytes usually come in SODIMM form. Soldering RAM, on the other hand, is attached directly to the motherboard and cannot be removed. Many Ultrabooks and slim laptops use this method. Although it's convenient for manufacturers, it means that once you buy the laptop, you can't upgrade the RAM unless the manufacturer offers replacement options. Also, soldered RAM tends to take up less space than SODIMMs, allowing the laptop to have a thinner profile. So how do you find out what kind of RAM your laptop has? We'll tell you right after. To figure out which type of RAM your laptop has, you need to look up its technical specifications. You can find this information on the manufacturer's website. You can also check it yourself on Windows or Mac OS. On Windows, press Ctrl plus Shift plus Escape to open Task Manager. Go to the Performance tab and select Memory. You'll see the type of RAM your laptop has as well as its total capacity and speed. On Mac OS, click the Apple logo on the menu bar, then click About this Mac. From there, go to the Memory tab and you'll see the same details as in Windows. If you want more detailed information, you can use the free utility CPUZ. It is available for both Windows and Mac OS and provides comprehensive information about your RAM and other components. That brings us to our last question. How do you upgrade your RAM? Before purchasing RAM for your laptop, keep these notes in mind. Make sure that the DDR generation matches between your current RAM and the RAM you're retrying to install. For example, DDR4 RAM cannot be used in a DDR3 laptop. Check the manufacturer's website or Task Manager to find out. Also, find out your laptop's max capacity and don't buy more RAM than your laptop can handle. For example, if your laptop has a 16 GB limit and you install 8 GB of RAM, you can't add more later on unless you remove the original 8 GB. Note the speed of your RAM and make sure the new RAM is at least as fast as the original. Otherwise, you may experience degraded performance. Remember, laptops are different from desktops and upgrading RAM isn't always possible. Even if it is, it's not always easy. Some laptop RAM is soldered onto the motherboard and cannot be removed. Others require you to disassemble part of the machine in order to access the RAM slots. As always, if you're unsure how to upgrade your RAM, contact a professional for help. Looking ahead, DDR5 and LPDDR5X RAM will likely become more widespread in laptops. So there you have it. That's all the info you need to know about the different types of laptop RAM. Hopefully this video helped you learn something new or confirmed what you already knew. And if you're interested in learning more about the tech featured in this video, check out the links below. Thanks for watching.